All right, I think we are live. Let me make sure my mic is not too loud. There we go. Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we're back on YouTube. It's been a while. It's been a long while. I'm not gonna lie. Let me move this aside quickly. It's been a long time. I've been doing stuff on some other platforms. Obviously, I'm not gonna mention names. So we're on certain places today. Obviously, I was trying that out. So it's been all right, but I've missed. You know what? I've really missed. It made me realize I've missed YouTube. All right, I've missed seeing you guys in the chat. And I've really missed looking at actually normal big coins like Bitcoin. I haven't looked at Bitcoin in a long time. So a lot of today's streams and a lot of today's charts are going to be obviously not new to the eyes because again I have been keeping track on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. However, they're going to be new charts. I'm going to be drawing them live because it's been a while since I've truly done anything on stream. So I'm excited to be doing that. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Maybe try to look at SERP as well. Com as well. I do want to kind of give an update on that because I have been talking about that on another platform for a while now. Again, that's probably one of the main coins. Out of everything I've looked at, I had a few in my kind of repertoire. It was like Trump, SPX, Com, Launch, Camino. Out of all of them, Com was the main one for me, which I was quite confident in what I was talking about. So I'll redraw the chart again if it's on. Obviously, I actually haven't checked if it's on TradingView, and we will go through all that. So I will try and not spend too much time on most things. Yeah. I'm just glad to be back, I really am. So checking chat now because we're currently on BitGet and YouTube. I think BitGet's having issues though because we haven't really streamed on there in a long time. So let me actually, or in ages, never actually. I don't know why I'm saying a long time. I'm just going to check that quickly, just check the stream because I don't know if it's lagging. I actually have no idea because if it's lagging, then I don't really want to keep on doing it if it's lagging. So I might turn it off. Let's see. Okay, it's good now. Well, fine, whatever. I'll leave it. Hopefully it resolves itself. What I will do is turn on my timer, my Fable timer. There it is. Because I don't want to send too long. Okay, I could talk for forever. I just started my timer. I know. All right. I can talk forever and ever, but I have to limit myself. Otherwise, I get carried away. So an hour on the clock. Have a look at some percentages, see what's going on. And again, like I said, it's been, I don't know how long it's been since I last streamed on YouTube. So, and basically looks at Bitcoin, because again, a lot of my time has been taken up on looking at everything surrounding, meme coins and altcoins, because, I kind of went over to the dark side for a bit, it was the whole little spiel on Twitter about it as well. But, I spent quite a while kind of in that area of crypto, so it's been a while since I've actually not that I haven't had the time to look at Bitcoin or anything like that, but really actually focused on these charts. So I haven't really been keeping too much track on them. So hopefully, again, I can kind of gauge what the market's been doing, or gauge them from what the market's been doing. But obviously we can see some percentages and whatnot. So anyway, let's get back into CoinMarketCap. 104k for Bitcoin, 104.3 right now, about 3% down 7-day, 0.3 down 24 hour. I do think with Bitcoin though, there are people who are talking about us coming to, I believe it's 90k. I believe it was mentioned yesterday in our quiz stream actually by I believe Kabir. It might be Kabir Khan, I believe. I don't know. I can't remember which one was the bear fully. So apologies for that. But yeah, I think he's been talking about 90k. I know because the perma bear, whatever. I believe there's some articles talking about it. Obviously, we will see I can see the reasoning. What I'll say, but obviously, I don't want to talk about the entire charts right now because again I've literally just started the stream and we're on CoinMarketCap, but when we get into the charts I can see where it's coming from. 90k, 93k, I can understand. Goodbye, see you in a bit. The other half Crypto Warehouse is going now, but anyway, yeah, like I said, I can see where it's coming from in terms of the 93k area for Bitcoin. I can understand it, so I will talk about that. I obviously will have to be nuanced in this, as there are things going on politically which are obviously have been affecting the market and may also continue to affect the market, especially as we may be getting closer to a resolution to it that will obviously have a great deal of effect on the market. So we will be talking about that in a bit as well. So 2500 for Ethereum, very nice. Obviously back in my time, when we were back on YouTube stream, not too long ago, but quite a while ago. Back in my day, we were not seeing 2500, but 2,500 for, or 2,500 for Ethereum, about 10% down 7 day. Obviously, we'll get into the charts as well, but we'll be doing some live TA because it's been a long time. I don't have really my ranges anymore. I don't really look at them too much. We'll probably open back up, but again, I haven't been on TradingView. Not only Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, but I haven't really been using TradingView because obviously, again, I've been on a different platform with their ecosystem, so GMGN. I've been on that whole ecosystem to look at altcoins, so I haven't even really been on TradingView. This is the level we're at right now. I haven't really been on TradingView. Haven't really been using any I used to have the power free ranges. Haven't been using them in ages. I might not even use them today. I don't think I'm going to use them. It might just be kind of pure just price action. So it's a lot has changed. I won't lie. But anyways, 10% 7 day. Just going on Solana, I want to see what Solana's like. And again, it probably be Com, Syrup, and then obviously the top three, as we normally do anyway. So obviously, I'll obviously keep this pretty short. I won't spend 30 minutes on Bitcoin as I normally do. I'll aim to keep it a bit concise. So about 10.5% down 7 day, $143 right now for Solana. Similar prices from what I remember. Obviously, looking at what I have in on prices again, the prices and times I have for these Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, I can really just refer to back when we were mainly really looking at these charts. Every single stream looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. So in terms of price relative to what I remember looking at on stream anyway, not off stream, I believe Solana, I think we're in a pretty similar scenario. Obviously we were 120 for a while, but I think one of the main areas was about this price anyway, so very interested to see how Solana's going. Obviously the main market, as you can see on the right side anyway, we've had our main market overall moves anyway, so it's not like Solana hasn't moved, but again, in comparison to Bitcoin and Ethereum, very similar price from what I remember looking at on stream anyway. So I do want to see if I can target some Syrup and Com. I want to see if we can go to them. So let's see. Again, a massive, great run for Maple so far. This is on the 1 year, yeah. So this is like long term. For if I go to the monthly, yeah, we've had a great run. If you can just go to the yearly again, it's just been a general uptrend. Every low, higher highs, higher lows constantly. We haven't really had a single time, apart from obviously a bit of a lower low, but it doesn't really matter. We've had just this consistent move up for Syrup, because again, it's not like a developed. I'm not saying it's early doors or anything, but in terms of the charts history and the way it's been moving, especially during this period from about April onwards, I believe about April time onwards, it's just been consistently going up, because again, it's not something which has had its ecosystem fully developed and it's just trading based on just the valuation of it. It's continuously doing stuff which is adding to its value on the external side of things, not just the charts. So again, it's just in this massive run for Maple, so continuously going up right now. I've seen some massive price targets for Syrup. I believe Mike's talked about Syrup quite often and his price targets as well, so we'll be trying to look at. I haven't actually really looked at Syrup in terms of the charts, and if I have, it's been ages ago. So again, fresh chart. The majority of today is going to be spent looking at the charts fresh, because again, it's been a while. The last one I do want to look at though is Com, and to be fair, even though you see, I've never looked at compute on CoinMarket. But what we can do is look at it on here, okay, and look at the breakdown. Let me just go to a random chart and then I can go to the favorite. There we go. We can have a look now. So if we go to, can this disappear? No. There it is. I want to see the data of it. And again, I'm very positive. And again, you guys probably haven't really been. I mean, maybe some of you have, but you guys probably haven't really been on my other streams on certain little places, which I'm probably not going to be starting up again. We'll obviously see. A lot of them has been. This is just. I thought that was about the project then. A lot of comms data, and again, a lot of the time frame on these coins. Where I've kind of been going wrong with a lot of the meme coins is in terms of the time frames I've been covering them has been very high. And again, we've had a lot of different things happening currently in the world, which have been doing certain things to the markets. Obviously, if you guys have been looking at the markets in any capacity over the shorter term time frame, you probably obviously will you will know this. But I think for Com, that is definitely a larger. I don't think you guys can see the notifications, so hopefully you guys can't. It's literally covered the entire screen. I can only really see this side, which you can't even see on the stream. I don't know if I can move this, that I can hide it. I don't think I can move, unless I move the actual stream a tiny bit, which is not really exactly what I wanted to do, but oh well. I just want to see a bit of data of it. But with Com, anyway, it's more of a longer term play for me, because again, they're a project in early doors. And obviously, if you know anything about the project, you might hopefully understand why I'm quite positive about Com, and I'm actually quite happy to talk about it quite often. Again, I don't think we're not. I don't think we're doing anything right now. We would talk to try and do an AMA with one of the members of the team. That obviously might still be on. But obviously we're not really, in terms of, apart from that, affiliated with Com. I just think it's a great project. And again, what they're actually doing in terms of providing true utility to in their project, not doing some random, just crap coin which is just going to fall to zero. They're actually doing something good. And there's other projects I've looked at over the past, couple of days, maybe a week or two, which have been just, they've been trying to add utility, but they're not really doing anything as of current, or potentially in the shorter term future, which is actually going to do anything of value. But with Com, they're consistently doing stuff. So I think in the price we are right now, and I will obviously look at it again. Hopefully, I don't think I could do it on TradingView because it's quite a shorter term coin, so I'll have to re-update my TA on this chart, but it's being blocked. I do think Com's really good, but in terms of the actual data, I think this is obviously a movement of about 11%, 6.24% 24 hour. I don't know what we are on the 1 hour, but I don't really think it matters. But we are positive. I think we have had quite a deep retracement though with Com. I haven't looked at it in a few days because I missed the Tuesday stream, so I looked at it maybe Saturday time. So again, I think we've had a bit of a deeper retracement than I have drawn, but again, we'll hopefully have a re-update of that in a short while, if I can get the chart up. If I have to go to GMGN, I will, but I would rather do it on TradingView. But yeah, okay, so not bad in terms of what we had on an overall scale. If I go back to the lower time frame, had a bit of retracement for Maple, but again, we will have a look at it. But yeah, these are tokens which are consistently being developed, so we will aim to try and do these later on in the stream. But it is, I spent 15 minutes. Obviously, I started 5 minutes late, but we've got about 10 minutes left. So, or we've done 10 minutes, got 50 minutes left. I do want to get onto the chart. So, onto Bitcoin. Now, this isn't what I think is going to happen. There's a bit of nuance here in terms of what I'm going to talk about. Now, we have this is on the weekly, so I do want to just put that out there. This is the weekly, and I'm going to talk through this, okay? So in terms of our move, I kind of applied the same principle from last move in terms of having this move like this, and then coming back into this area down here, and then moving back upwards. So again, applying the same value of kind of premium discount and retracing into an area of actual where you want to actually look for a buy. We did really well with this candle here, which then obviously led into the move upwards towards these highs, which obviously we have taken with this 112-ish K high we've had for Bitcoin. So applying the same kind of principle from this move, and again, this until we see true lows, and again on the lower time frames, I do believe we are printing lower, and especially within this candle here, and obviously you can see by these wicks we're starting to definitely slow down a bit. Obviously trailing the move upwards, I believe we're probably seeing the high here, especially considering this previous high, which we had this wick above, and then we're starting to move down. I do believe, soon, I reckon this should be relatively the high, which obviously leads us into having this candle below the equilibrium where we should have a nice buy area. Now, I'm not saying this happens, and again, this is very nuanced, because again, we're on the weekly here. This isn't something on the 15 minute which is going to happen within the next couple hours. This is something long term. We'll obviously shrink down a bit to some lower time frame just to see what's going on locally, but as of what we have on the weekly, this is what I'm looking at. Now, in terms of why I can see people talking, I'm not saying I fully agree with it, I'm just drawing out what I would assume would be the situation where we're actually moving down. And I would obviously, relative, and again, this is on the weekly, so if you look on the 4 hour, it's a longer move, but relative on the weekly by weekly basis, we have had that high, we have had that higher low, we've had that higher high now. We haven't printed through technically, but in terms of where our extreme, the extremities are, we have had that high with this 112. Even if we probably went to the daily, I believe we have had that kind of 2-day print above this high. So we have had that higher high here. So it's not kind of crazy to say we were going to have a bit of a retracement into seeing a higher low, and then obviously continuing our trend. Because again, as of what we've had, we've just had a normal trend upwards. Like, if we can't just do this, we've had normal movements, in this, we're just going up. I'm not saying we come to, well, to be fair, where this meets is technically around here, but I'm not saying this trend line is where we have to come to. But in terms of our move, we've just had high highs, high lows. This is just our normal move, so it's not crazy to say, obviously, all things being considered, and we will get onto that in a second, that this is the high, and now we're going to be retracing a bit towards some of these lows. Now, there's some things I want to mention about what I'm talking about here, which is obviously there is major political-based things going on right now. Obviously, not to get political, obviously this is a financial trading stream, not financial advice though, but things are happening in the world, which obviously have had major effects in the market, and will continuously have major effects in the market up until its end, if you will. And again, I think the main point I have for it would be how it ends, if you know what I mean. So it's like, it depends on how it gets ended. I'm not saying anything in particular here, but if it comes to a peaceful resolution, obviously I know there are the big man of America is talking with I don't know the full details actually, I'm not going to say anything wrong, but there are in talks with some people involved with this event, which could hopefully result in a positive resolution. And this is where one of my main points of a few with this maybe not happening, because I know there are quite a few people who are negative on Bitcoin, and I have this. And again, if I was to just look at the charts only, I would completely agree and go, you know what, as I see it on the weekly right now, again, I can go on some lower time frames, and we might be in different scenarios, but as I see it on the weekly right now, we have shown set up to potentially move down a tiny bit more, or not a tiny bit more. We have potential to move down to produce a new, low. And I actually don't know. I mean, this is the weekly, to be fair, so the point doesn't stand. But again, I don't know if these moves are. I believe these are just normal price action. So I don't think this is a low of manipulation per se, but I believe this is a normal move, so I think it can happen once more with this move towards 93k. So just to put out, in terms of people talking about seeing this low point at about 90k, I can definitely understand where people are coming from with that, with that regard. But again, you can't not ignore the fact that there is something pretty critical going on in the world right now, which again will have massive effects. Again, I think with things like this, I think the start and the end are definitely the biggest affecting parts of the kind of whole process. So again, the start of it was a massive deal. Again, the consistent amount of times I said something on some of my previous streams I've had during the last 2 weeks, and then something happening in the world, it's just, you can't time it. It's a joke. But again, I've seen firsthand, obviously, the start of it has had a massive effect on the market. And I think, as we continue to, as the event, not the event, as it continues onwards, I do think it gets less and less effect on the market until we see that ending point. And again, obviously, there are talks between some officials of trying to resolve this without it being too heavy. So I do think once that period comes in, I don't think it's so much of a guaranteed we move down like there is with a start of a conflict. I think the start of a conflict is always a down, it always moves down. It's a black swan. It moves down the market. However, I think the resolution of the war is definitely something which can be held to interpretation based on how it gets resolved, in terms of if it becomes a peaceful meeting in the middle, or something critical happens to cause it to move to the to that position where things are really badly happening. And I think if we do hit that point where within this conflict, that it gets to a point where it resolves in a negative manner, I think this gets blown out of the water. I think it's obviously goes down, but I think there's that variability in this moment where it either goes up or goes down based on the resolution and how it gets resolved. So, as I see it right now, like I said, just based on the charts alone, I would be definitely holding on to this idea that, okay, cool, I can see the process of our move, and we haven't put in that low yet. We are showing signs by how we're printing these candles. These candles are awful, especially Monday and Tuesday. It's weekly, not Monday, Tuesday. Monday and Monday, the last 2 weeks, and maybe within this candle as well. Obviously, we haven't printed it yet. If we just look at the bodies and look at the wicks, it's just, again, I'm not saying candle bodies and candle wicks. I mean, obviously, price action is what kind of orchestrates the market, but you can, it's quite common to look at movements in the market with these massive wicks. Obviously, some determined ones. Obviously, in this case, it might just be a drastic displacement. It's either a massive displacement, or when you see these candles where there's a wick up and a wick down. Maybe one's a bit bigger than the other, but the body's tiny. It's uncertainty. It's uncertainty in the market. So it's a move up and move down of equal stature. Again, if you look at this, especially on the 2nd of June, the start of June, over the entire week, we obviously moved, but the result of the week was negligible. If we actually just zoom in, this is a positive candle. So we opened 105.6, we closed 105.7. So about $100 difference over an entire course of a week. Again, obviously we have had a process during that. Very similar with the week after. So it's like, okay, the market is clearly uncertain, which makes sense. Again, we are in a period of volatility. And again, I don't believe the conflict. I don't know when it. I'm trying to be on the fence here. I'm not trying to be, political. I don't know when it started. I don't think it was. I don't know what the exact date was. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been too. It was relatively recent. I don't think it was within. Was it? I don't think it was the start of the month. I think it might have been within this period. How long ago was it? I've lost track. I can't remember. I lost track. I don't read it anymore. But regardless, definitely in a very big period of volatility. So it's not crazy to say there is definitely big uncertainty in the markets, or it's a slowdown of the high. So it's showing signs. Okay, these are strong moves, massive candles, more small wicks. These are just strong moves, especially when you have these big gaps, which we've printed on both these 2 weeks during April and May. It's like, okay, cool. The market is moving really fast here, but now we've hit this high, we've moved above this high and swept it, and then we stopped completely. So I do think, okay, we're showing signs to just move down. I'm really, all the words I'm saying right now are just a really big, nicely wrapped up way of just saying, I think we've done the high, and I think we're going to come down to do a low and then do a high again. That's basically it. But I really can't. It would be foolish of me to say just that when we have to pay attention to the idea that things could get resolved soon. I know there are. I don't know if it's current. I don't know when exactly the tweet. I didn't remember the date. I didn't look at it. I don't know. It might have been yesterday, day before. I don't know if it was today. I can't remember exactly what day it was. But within a week at least, there have been meetings with people. So hopefully there is something going on in a resolution. I think if the resolution doesn't happen soon, or it doesn't end soon, I think we will revert back to moving with the charts. And I completely agree with the idea of we coming down towards this 90k area completely. Again, we do have this area here of 98, but in terms of relative to the move we've had, in terms of having the sub-equilibrium point being, the area to focus on, I think we will easily move past this. And this is the first presented gap we've had in this move. I do definitely think we could retrace deep into this area towards about 92, 93k, and then, move back upwards towards the highs. I definitely think that's possible. We've done the external high. We should now be aiming for internal, which I think for me, we have not touched this. Technically, we've come into this gap a tiny bit, so we could have technically, we might have not fully utilized it, but I do definitely think we could have fallen a bit shorter than that. But that's kind of what I have for Bitcoin. I'll look at the small time frame in a second. I do see a bit of chat on YouTube. So Triggs here, shout out to you. Shout out to KB. Appreciate you being here. And Mags. And I believe Danny is here as well. So appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much. I don't know if Bit gets resolved itself. Hopefully it has. Shout out to you guys on BitGet. Obviously, we're trying to sort out, because we had a bit of we've had a few, not to name names or anything, we've had a few platforms try to, come on board with Crypto Warehouse and get us streaming on their platforms. So obviously we've obviously tried to go with BitGet, not in any, just try it out and whatnot. So hopefully it resolves itself. Again, this is our first stream on BitGet. We haven't never streamed BitGet, but I believe it's very similar to Binance. Not to say